Welcome to this video presentation. My name is Ruth O'Hara and I'm a freelance illustrator. Today I will be going over the commission project that I set for myself, creating a cover design for a book of my choice. For this brief, I chose to design the cover of a fiction fantasy book called Sabriel, written by Garth Nix. The story centres on a young woman named Sabriel who ventures into a magical land to find her missing father, encountering undead enemies and making unusual friends along the way, leading to saving the world from a great evil entity by the end. This was one of my favourite books to read as a child. The characters were compelling and the story was very exciting. I also have a deep fascination for stories with magical settings, so this felt like the perfect project to test my abilities and have fun at the same time. The target audience is for young adults aged 12 years and up, and the story has themes of fantasy and adventure, as well as elements of mild horror, so I needed to find a style that would fit all of these criteria. I started the project by researching book cover designs that fall in the same genre as Sabriel, also aimed at young adults. This was to get an idea of the style trends of other fantasy books and what kind of layouts they use. Most books I found in the fantasy genre tend to include the background in with their cover designs. This is to give the design a sense of grandeur to draw the audience in, as well as giving world building of the story to the audience just through the use of visuals. Interestingly, when I searched for past cover designs for Sabriel, I found that most of them feature her as the main focus, where she takes up the majority of the cover. This would make sense since she is the main character of her own story. However, I wanted my inspiration sources to be diverse in order to generate the most appropriate design ideas. After the research, I drew thumbnails of my initial layout ideas. I tried to be as varied as possible to see what layouts would be the most visually interesting. I almost ended up choosing the first thumbnail because I liked the idea of a wraparound design for the cover, and it was based on a scene from the book. Instead, I chose the sixth thumbnail with Sabriel flying on a magical bird. This is because I realised after receiving feedback that this layout had the potential to be a dynamic and interesting design, and would be a more appropriate reflection of the story since it's also based on another scene from the book. I decided to expand on more detail for this layout by combining elements from my other thumbnail ideas, such as a flock of undead crows from the fifth thumbnail chasing the main characters, and incorporating that into a wraparound design like I had for my first idea. I decided to work from my first layout sketch and redrew the characters digitally and changed a few details. For instance, I changed the cat's pose so he's standing in the cockpit of the paper wing peering out of it, instead of standing on top of it, as it wouldn't have been an accurate pose for flying thousands of feet in the air. I also made the main characters smaller on the composition, so the perspective would make them look like they were further away. However, after some peer feedback, I had made them too small to see them properly, so I would eventually make them a bit bigger, making it easier to see them on the cover. I had to draw quite a few birds of varying sizes to fill the back cover and make the flock look like a whole swarm flying towards the main characters. After drawing the characters, I coloured them in as well as the background. I wanted to be experimental with painting the environment, so I played around with pastel effect brushes in Photoshop to add texture to the mountains, giving depth to the angles and adding shading to make it look more three-dimensional. I decided to leave the characters with flat colours, partly to help them stand out from the background, but added shading away from where the sun would be shining on them. Overall, I think this is an appropriate design for the Sabriel cover. It's bright and exciting, and aimed at appealing to the book's age range. It portrays content from the story, and elements of the genre, including dark fantasy and magic. I think it has a unique visual design compared to previous Sabriel covers, and it would certainly stand out and draw your attention if it were placed on a bookshelf. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope it has helped to showcase my design as a potential cover for the Sabriel book. If you have any questions, you can view my online portfolio, where I have listed my contact details, such as my email and social media. I hope to speak to you soon.